We hope that we are really audible on YouTube channel. Hello everyone.
Yes, yes,
Yes, Shibu, you are audible.
you are audible now. What's up?
Am I audible perfectly?
Yes. Everyone is audible. So yes, we can now start the webinar. And the today's host, Somilya, you can take over the meeting.
Okay. So I hope I'm audible properly. So let's start. A very good afternoon to one and all present over here. I, Somilya Mishra, on the behalf of scientific community, welcome you all in this event, Sex Education in India. So the agenda which we are going to talk about is a social stigma in the society which we need to break. So that's the reason we have collected on this online platform. So, before diving deep into the agenda, I hand over the mic to Dhairya Rajguru, founder of Scientific Community, to throw some light on the insights of scientific community. Dhairya, please.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Somilya, and thank you so much each and every speaker, Dr. Kavita Gupta and Dr. Parimal, sir. So I will the today's topic, that is sex education in India. That's really very stigmatic topic in our society and also in our educational perspective of each and every school, I can say. And also when we talk about this kind of things at our home before our parents or grandparents specifically. So at that time, what happens is that uh, they are really very stigmatic, that we cannot talk about these things. And like even when we talk about the psychological perspective or something else to our parents and grandparents, and they are really that what is a psychology, they even don't know what is psychology, how, who are psychologists, what is their really what they really work and all. So that's why I thought that, like, we and our team, everyone thought that why not to like throw some webinar on which can actually help the society and even give education to everyone. So scientific community organizes this many webinars, and in past also we did seven webinars approximately. So that's what the number. And looking forward to the community, then I will just introduce it in the way that me and my team together had the vision to actually explore the scientific communication side of science. And also I wanted to connect each and every student so that the student do not hesitate to show their ideas. Because what happens in today's life is that a student who goes to college, he really has so much of ideas in his mind for a startup or entrepreneurship, or I can say in the science that he wants to pursue his research, or he has some ideas that he need to put forward to someone. But the college people or university people, they really don't appreciate such things. Or if they are also appreciating, then the student of an undergraduate really do not get a chance to actually publish their ideas or express their ideas anywhere. So that's why I and my team together started this platform actually. So if you visit our website, that is scientificcommunity.in, scientific-community.in. So actually over there, you can see that there are many features, like there is a side chat where we discuss about different aspects of science. We discuss science over there. It's like open chatting platform and open communicating platform with everyone. We have our WhatsApp groups in that, like approximately 1500, more than 1500 students are already joined in our WhatsApp groups. So if you want to join that WhatsApp group, you can mail us that you want to join. So we'll give you a link to join that WhatsApp group of scientific community. And in that WhatsApp group, mainly many things like information sharing, webinar updates from whole world, and also from India, each and every corners of India, people are joined over there. So networking is being done. Then other features like we publish articles of students. So that's what the main feature of making this website was, that the students who can share their ideas should at least publish their ideas somewhere. Because like if you have idea, then you should express it out. Because a wise man once said that die empty. die empty in the sense that if you have some idea, don't die with some ideas. You write it down somewhere and then die. So that's what the concept of this our blog is, that we help students to express their ideas in form of writing, that is articles, science articles. Then we have a beautiful category called science art, where students showcase their beautiful concept of arts, like simple cell division, I can say, or different aspects of neurobiology and other things, neurons and those things in a artistically form, and they connect with the science. Then other features we have of musings and memes. So those who are memers, I can say, they can join our community and send your memes to us, a science memes. We would publish it on our website and also all our social media handles. And we have a unique feature called PhD connection, which actually gives you open positions for many fields, like ranging from ecology to neurobiology and psychology, everything. So that's what PhD connection does, and much more. So I can say you can visit the website and actually go through it. We will be giving you website at the end of the webinar. So yeah, and the e-certificate for this webinar will be provided to you, and the link will be given at the last of the webinar during the questionnaire time, so that the people can be stay and they can get the e-certificate at that time. And I can say you will get the e-certificate in 7 business days. So in 7 days, I think you can get your certificate. So that's what the introduction of our community is, and you all are welcome to our community. Thank you so much. Thank you, Somilya.
Thank you, Dhairya, for giving such a nice introduction. So now I would like to introduce our partner in this webinar, Baroda Youth Club. So we have Mr. Deval, Contractor, the founder of Baroda Youth Club, with us, whom I would like to hand over the mic to give us some insights about the club. Mr. Sir, please.
Thank you, Somilya. Good evening to all. This is Deval Contractor here, founder of Baroda Youth Club. First of all, I would like to welcome all the participants who have joined here. I will not take much time, but yeah, Baroda Youth Club is total youth run based organization. Our aim is upliftment and betterment of the society. Main works. Some of our works include candle march against rapists, essentials distribution to Banaskata flood affected areas, mass distribution during COVID crisis, blood donation camp, and many more. Hence, those who are willing to join us as a BYC member, reach out to our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter handle. Registration forms are given there in the bio. What differs us is that we are not specialized to any particular social factor, but always we try to focus on various social factors prevailing in our country as well as in our city, such as whether it is women empowerment, child abuse, or child labor, or etc. So I end my words by saying helping hands are better than praying lips, which is our tagline. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Deval. It's yeah, for giving such a good insight for your community. So now, with the immense pleasure, I welcome our today's speaker, Dr. Kavita Gupta and Dr. B.S. Parimal for our today's event. So, with such starting with some short, crisp introduction. So, Dr. Kavita Gupta is an assistant professor in the Department of Psychology, Faculty of Education and Psychology at the Maharaja Sayaji Rao University of Baroda, Gujarat. She is currently working in the field of clinical psychology, and besides, she has her doctoral thesis on quality of life in cancer patients undergoing chemotherapy and radiotherapy. She is even working with the university students targeting their personal, emotional, psychological problems, enhancement of their mental health and well-being. Her area of interest includes positive psychology, clinical psychology, social psychology, research methodology, education psychology, and she is even dedicating to serve undergraduate, postgraduate, PG diploma students. She further hopes to apply the knowledge and skills garnered from her various disciplines towards improving the welfare and happiness of the world. Her research findings have been published as 20 research papers in national and international referred index journals, and she has even presented 6 research papers at national and international conferences. I would like to introduce our next speaker, Dr. B.S. Parimal. So Dr. B.S. Parimal is an assistant professor at Department of Psychology, Faculty of Education and Psychology at the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda. He is having a teaching experience of 23 years. So he has also been the NSS program officer for 5 years and as a UGC nominee in different communities. His research interests are areas are positive psychology, educational psychology, counseling psychology, law, etc. With this introduction, I would now hand over the mic to Jahanvi Attre to steer the event towards our agenda. Jahanvi, please.
Thank you so much, Somilya, for introducing our speakers. Moving towards to our today's session, the topic which is the most skipped topic in Indian education system, the ordinary thing which has become a huge taboo in our country. So let's break this stigma, this taboo, and have a talk over this with our experts of the respective topics. We need to know why sex education is important for us, how this education plays an important role in a teenage life as well as in an adult's life. So, and what are the problems for like this porn addiction, teenage crimes, which happens under the curiosity of sex? I would like to call Kavita ma'am for uh, today's topics on sex education in India. Ma'am, please.
Yeah, thank you, Jahanvi, for this great opportunity. And I would just like to thank everybody over here, present over here, especially to the community, scientific community members for giving me this opportunity to present my ideas over sex education in India. So let me share my presentation over here. Can I share my presentation? Right. Is it visible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Okay, thank you. So let us begin today's talk with sex education, and I'll be just debriefing about what sex education is, what's its importance is, and then I'll be coming onto the Indian scenario. So sex education broadly comprises of the instructions on human sexuality, which is an embodiment of physical, psychological, emotional, social, and relational components of the human relationships. So what sex education is? It's not merely an instruction, but it is an education that needs to be given to every child pertaining to the sexual matters. It's concerned with establishing a healthy attitude amongst the boys and the girls pertaining to each other so that they may lead a good social life. So it can be said that sex education is that education which should enable boys and girls to grow up in such a way that they would be able to enjoy full lives as men and women, each developing his or her own personality and each making his or her own contribution to a harmonious social life. So it is concerned with both your personal and social life of an individual, and education of sex is not entirely a matter of facts. It is largely a matter of emotions and feelings. It's the lifelong process of building a morally acceptable foundation for sexual health. While this topic is often discussed, myths and misunderstandings still persist. It is a process of acquiring information and forming attitudes, beliefs, and values. So now coming on to the importance of sex education, why it is actually required. So among the many inner urges and drives, sex is considered the most universal and powerful drive in a human being. According to Freud, claim interest in sex is instinctive and starts from early infancy. It is revealed through the child's interest in playing with his or her own genital organs. Then such things are generally taken as a dangerous sign by the parents. Parents either rebuke them or give wrong information in an atmosphere of great hush hush, thereby increasing the curiosity of children in a greater force. Therefore, The children try to get information from other sources, such as cheap literature, we have movies, the porn sites, the sexually perverted, the ill-motivated and inexperienced companions. Such distorted and inaccurate information about sex not only creates unhealthy attitude towards sex, but runs a risk of serious mental disorder, complexes, and behavioral maladjustment. The importance of sex in the development of human personality has been emphasized by the psychologists since ages, and they have tried to conceive a picture of inner life of man in terms of sex energy. So why there is a need for sex education? Now there is an urgent need to break the silence and remove the veil of unnecessary secrecy surrounding the sex. Today is the age where the need of sex information and guidance is strongly felt by the youngsters themselves. So a well-knitted scientific program of sex education is a must and a mandatory thing. Sex education should aim at developing a proper attitude and a proper level of understanding on sex activity amongst the boys and girls in the adolescent age. Many a time, maladjustment in the life of a person is attributed to the unsatisfactory behaviors of sex life. So the main aim of sex education is to enable the young person to become aware of and to cope with the physical and emotional changes that will occur, to empower the young person to make choices about the sexuality, and in doing so, allow him or her a degree of protection, to provide correct knowledge about the sex and sexuality, to teach how to express physical and verbal affection in a manner appropriate to one's age, discourage inappropriate display of an affection, such as hugging strangers, to teach the concept of privacy of self as well as others, to teach the difference between acceptable behaviors in a private setting and in public, to develop the right attitude towards person of one's own and opposite sex, to explain that one has the right to refuse any kind of touch at any time from any person, relative or otherwise, and to educate about marriage, mating, pregnancy, control of fertility, and parenting. To help the individuals to establish stable social relationships with persons of own and opposite sex, and to equip the individual against the development of sexual deviations. So we can see that there are various sources where a child or an individual can collect the knowledge regarding sex or sexual knowledge have different sources. A child or an individual can gather the information through friends or through the literature, by communicating with the old people, through movies, drawings, reproduction in animal life, and the physiological development. So the knowledge received by reading the dirty books, seeing wild sex movies or nasty drawings, etc., it can be injurious to mental and physical health of an adolescent due to lack of proper guidelines. Instructions and knowledge about sex should be given freely and frankly by the qualified adults like doctors, nurses, teachers, and we also have collaborations with the social workers. Imparting of right information is a very important foundation stone of sex education. Now, it comes what to teach in sex education. The basic rule is to provide accurate and developmentally appropriate information. So here we can teach a student or we can teach a child about the anatomy and physiology, about the maturation and the body changes that is going to occur. Now, this information is it's highly essential at the pre-pubertal age. Then a psychosocial sexual behavior can be taken into consideration, followed by marriage and parenthood. What sort of information and what type of support needs to be provided would depend on the cognitive abilities as well as social and personal skills of that person to whom this information is to be given. Now, who can give this sex education? Now, this is a very critical topic, that who is the reliable and who is the trustworthy person who can actually impart sex education. So a doctor can be considered, and a doctor can impart the physiological aspect of education. He cannot impart social aspect of sex, obviously, and we can see that a doctor has his skills where he can teach about the physiological process. Then second, we have parents. The parents are the best teacher at home to provide the necessary information, because a child has parents as its immediate family members. Then we have teachers. Now, teachers are the only person who can competently provide sex education with essential help from the doctor, social workers, etc. And only those teachers who are emotionally stable, cooperative, and have genuine interest in adolescents and their problems can impart knowledge regarding sex education. So now here, parents and community play a vital role in imparting the sex education. Schools should start invite a doctor to give lecture regarding that particular topic. And the parents play three significant roles in this arena. The first one is the inescapable role of influencing the child's attitude towards and knowledge about the sex. The parents can cooperate with the community leaders to create in the community an atmosphere which will enable the schools to develop and implement as well planned and coordinated program of sex education. The third, the parents must treat their grown-up children as their friend, and they should be given adequate information concerning gender hygiene and growth, the function of the glands of internal secretion, working and functions of reproductive organs and sex processes, concerning the birth of a baby in a simple and most natural way. So now a question comes then, when the sex education should be imparted. Now it can be imparted as soon as the person is ready to understand the various concepts. Although there is virtually no lower age limit to start this education, the level and degree of information will greatly vary according to the intellectual development and understanding of an individual. Do not wait for the child to become an adolescent before you impart sex education. The instructions should begin before problems arise during the pre-pubertal age. Sex education also takes place as adults carrying out the toileting and bathing activities of the child right from the young age. The child has also to be made aware of appropriate and inappropriate touch outside of these care routines. Tasks such as bathing, changing clothes, and toilet training should be taught to the child the way you want him to do these as an adult. So now, how to teach a child or an individual about these concepts? The main thing is to give direct, honest, and short answers that provide specific information. Now, information regarding intercourse, the conception, contraception, and the genetic implications can be simplified and explained in a language which an adolescent can understand. The subject is an emotional one, therefore, the language, the manner of conducting, and the setting provided should be socially acceptable. Now the question comes that where to get sex education, which is the best place to provide these sort of education, because it's a highly sensitive topic. It can be imparted as part of daily living activities at home or in the structured situation in the classroom. It can be imparted in many forms and settings. It can be formal or informal or both, for in and out of the school. It is better to include overall health promotion and disease prevention model. Often, it is taught in a graded manner like every other subject. Gender, culture, social perspective, and religious sensitivity should be understood and can be incorporated as far as practicable. The permission from parents can be sought, and it can be kept confidential. It can be kept optional if it is provided in schools. In the long run, this increases the acceptance and the effectiveness of the education. Now, I have given more emphasis on the sex education and adolescence, because I think that this is the right age where a sex education knowledge should be given to a child. Now, adolescent usually is a person of strong impulses where the conflicting states of affection and sex excitement are observed. As far as sex education by parents is concerned, due to their own lack of training, they hesitate to make healthy approach towards their adolescent children. As a result, the parents let their child as he or she can from the other sources. Now, it is very important for each child to understand the process of birth, of parts and functions of his or her own body, and his or her maturing relations with the same and the opposite sex. before he or she is stimulated by the misinformation that is available to her. The children are inhibited by the attitude of parents. They are bound to ask all sort of questions. Example, where do babies come from? Now, from this instance, I just remember my childhood experience that I asked my mother that where do babies come from? And she replied that babies used to come at that house or to those parents who actually belong a car, a four-wheeler vehicle. So I always kept on thinking that is it true, and the curiosity level increased up to a certain level. Now they should be taught the correct names of the body parts such as navel, rectum, buttocks, anus, penis, testicles, and vagina. The child should be made to know that a new body is formed in the mother's womb. The child should also be made known that the father's part in the creation of new life. Information of such kind, however, should be given gradually, tactfully, and objectively that suited and fits to the child's maturing power to understand it, followed by appreciating its significance to him or herself. Sex education should begin in the home before the child starts to school and should continue during the elementary school years, followed by much attention during the adolescent period where new problems of a sexual nature are spurted out. The development of adolescents depends on proper type of social interaction from where they come to know about the sex and its associated problems. Survey made by Ramsey and Hamilton proves that children cannot be kept ignorant of sex knowledge. So if parents are having this notion that we should not give this, we should not give sex education to our child, it is not appropriate, or this is not an appropriate age for a child to understand this concept, I think they should come out of that dilemma, and a child can never be kept ignorant of these such things. So coming on to the physiology of sex behavior. Sexual desires are felt in human beings at the stage of puberty, and in every normal individual, there is a single long period of mating activity, beginning with the maturation of the gonads at the puberty. After puberty, the period of sexual activity is continued until it ends of the relatively sudden menopause of women, or rather gradual sexual senility of men. If rational education is imparted, sex attitudes are developed on healthy lines because hormones alone do not influence the sex behavior, but habits, thoughts, and action also determine the sex behavior of an individual. So there are certain maladjustments in sex behavior. The faulty sex education can often lead to the violence and antisocial reaction, the bad emotional states, and according to the psychoanalytic school of thought, it's been believed that adult sex deviations are the result of experience met during childhood days, and therefore, like neurosis and psychosis, it may affect the adult personality to a greater extent. Coming on to the aspects of sex education. It is necessary to make adolescents understand the relationship between the facts of human anatomy and physiology and the conventions of human society. That means a certain balance has to be created between the anatomy, physiology, and the social interaction. The teaching of biology will make clear to the children that the human sex organs are essentially similar to those of the other mammals. They should also be made to know about the venereal diseases before they run the risk of it. Girls should be told about the facts regarding menstruation and the boys about the seminal emissions before the onset of puberty. Girls develop a lot of anxiety on the first menstruation that is often termed as menarche. Therefore, they should be told about the physiology of the process before they develop certain wrong notions about it. Here, I just would like to quote something that I think boys should also be given the knowledge about menstruation, because a certain instance I could remember from my childhood that my brother used to ask my mother what these sanitary pads are used for. And again, a misconception and a misinformation was given to my brother by my mother that this is used for, soaking the sweats, especially for girls. So again, a source, again, a misinformation went into his mind, and that raised his curiosity level. So the adolescent must also be told that the maximum sex excitement occurs in early morning hours. They have also to be convinced of the fundamental law of physiology. So the basic objectives of sex education is to make the young boys and girls realize the natural difference that exists between them. Anatomically, physiologically, what are the major differences between the two genders? To make the adolescents aware that no one sex is superior to the other, but there are two different sexes called upon to play different roles. To help children grow into adulthood without getting into trouble, and to eliminate pregnancies and thereby reducing the incidences of venereal diseases. Now, coming on to the sex education and sexuality with respect to our country, India. In our country, people hesitate to discuss sexuality openly. We are always having that environment of hush, hush, don't speak in public. This is a secret thing. You have to be very careful while speaking these words. Friends may discuss the subject with each other. They would not normally talk to their parents and elders about it because they are being grown up in such an environment where they are being prevented from speaking such sort of words, and it's a sin for them to discuss openly with the family members. Parents too feel reluctant to discuss sexual matters with their children because they feel that this is not the right age to impart sex education at this level. Therefore, gathering information from different sources might indulge them in unsafe and irresponsible behavior. So now the challenge is, in the day and age of the internet, social media, and unlimited access to information, how do we know for sure that children are getting the right information about everything, including sex and sexuality? So especially in the absence of a detailed, comprehensive conversation at home and at school. When children and young adults view sex and sexuality as a normal process, as a normal thing, human process, they are less likely to fall victim to false information. And studies show that starting conversation from a young age can also help decrease cases of sexual abuse. So here, coming on to the adolescent sex education, as per Indian scenario, sex education in India is very poorly implemented. Its robust implementation has become the need of hour, despite a lot of resistance in its path of implementation. The major resistances are unawareness and taboos associated with discussing sexuality openly. Understanding sexuality will likely to bring changes in multiple major domains of life. That includes your psychological, emotional, social, every aspect of quality of life. Now, there are three big social problems in India that is actually preventing this topic to propagate. The first thing is the adolescent marriage. The second is adolescent childbearing. And the third one is child sexual abuse. So according to the International Institute of Population Science database, 45% of women in India marry before 18 years of age. That is considered to be the legal age as per our country. I think it has converted to 21 years of age, that Dr B.S Parimal will let you know. And 22% of them give birth to their first child even before they attain the legal age for marriage. Now, the poor infrastructure and lack of human resources to deal with the adolescent specific reproductive health issues make the issue of sex education not only relevant, but also important from a human rights perspective. India scores poorly on adolescent reproductive health issues, and the situation is alarming when it comes to statistics of child sexual abuse in India. The results of the study on child sex abuse by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment revealed that approximately 53% of male and 47% of adolescent females were victims of sexual abuse. So sex education can act as a stop or preventive measure against sex abuse. Even though the subject of sex education has often been debated in India with attempts to remove the taboos associated with it, no longer can the Indian community defer imparting age-appropriate sex education to children in India. It is evident from the fact that we as a community shy away from discussions and debates about sexuality with children over the dining table or in the classrooms, and continue to live with the bubble of convertism while turning a blind eye to the exposure of children to mass media. internet, and pornography without realizing the impact it has in shaping the sexuality of young minds. With the electronic medium largely being an unregulated source of information, the onus lies on the parents and schools to educate the young minds on the right practices in a scientific and age-appropriate manner. So now what can be done? The main issue, we know that sex education is a main issue, and it is associated with the myths and the taboo. So what can be done? For starters, we need to take sex education far more seriously and work on developing a comprehensive sex ed curriculum that works for India. The emphasis should be on developing healthy sexual attitudes among the young adults and children, giving them and their parents access to the right kind of information that empowers them to make right and informed decisions. When we start normalizing conversations around sexual health and education, connecting it to respect, consent, safety, and love, we are working with the chance that this generation will make far healthier choices when it comes to sex and sexuality. So this is a very nice article. I was just going through this content and I just found something very interesting and I added it to my presentation. That going the Dutch way is a very good concept. The Netherlands follow a comprehensive sex education curriculum, teaching their children as young as 4 years old. Now, in our country, if I compare my country with this Dutch method, so we can see that at this age we are teaching we are teaching our children the concepts about the good and the bad touch. But here we can see that at the age of 4 years, they are being taught about sex and sexuality according to their, through their age appropriate mechanisms. The conversations are not explicitly about sexual acts, but revolve around love, respect, and intimacy. Building each year to introduce children to different aspects of sexual health. So as a result, what is observed over there in that country, that the Netherlands has one of the lowest rates of teen pregnancies in sexually transmitted diseases. So now coming on to the implications for designing and implementing sex education in India. In the real world settings, many factors need to be taken into consideration. Now, which can modify the outcome of the program, such as the educational and comfort level of the teachers, the total number of children per class, time duration of the program, modes of imparting sex education to the children, in harmony with the local culture and taking care of the sensitivities involved with that topic. In a country like India, with many religions, cultures, languages, striking the right chord in the absence of any standardized comprehensive sex education, delivering module is actually a very tedious task and an arduous task. So there is a need to urgently deliberate and discuss the issue with all the stakeholders, the parents, the society, the doctors, and formulate a strategy to address both basic levels of sex education involving personal safety and security, and advanced levels of sex education involving adolescent reproductive health issues in a systematic and strategic manner to help in a proper shaping of the adolescent population into a responsible adult. So this is a conceptual framework of how a sex education can take place. Now, there are certain aspects like biological, psychological, social, cultural, moral, ethical. These dimensions actually helps in forming the attitude, belief, and value of a particular individual. And these obviously, because a child is grown in such an environment where he is having such an atmosphere that actually impacts his or her sexual identity, the relationship, and intimacy. That means all these factors are actually playing a very important role in having information about this concept. Now, coming on to the conclusion, it is therefore very essential that teachers to be qualified to deal with adolescents, particularly the subject that must be handled by an emotionally matured person. Not everybody, but a special trainer or a teacher should be trained in specific area to train about these concepts to the students, to the children. The adolescents should be asked to pay more attention to the cleanliness, Healthy and objective information will not only help in ensuring better adjustments, but will also help in securing satisfactory relationship among the people when they get married. So as a child nears puberty, he or she should be prepared for the changes that will take place within him or her. If the child has received wise sex education in his or her pre-adolescent days, is given ample opportunity for association with members of opposite sex, he or she will definitely be able to make satisfactory adjustments. On the other hand, if there is no frank and scientific method of imparting sex education to adolescents, there are all possible chances that these adolescents might develop vague and mysterious ideas and habits of frequent masturbation, homosexuality, and other practices involving serious consequences for their alter life, such as sense of sin, fear, anxiety, depression, and other symptoms of neurotic and psychotic disorders. Indeed, it is ironic that India, the land of Kama Sutra, where sexuality was expressed artistically through sculptures of everyday life, and the great leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru have written and spoken so elegantly about their experimentation with their own sexuality, with a meaning and purpose, is now this concept is finding itself at the receiving end when it comes to sex education. And as a nation, is failing to do and persisting with conservative attitudes when the evidence points more towards the contrary. Thus, it's the crying need of the hour to revive the comfort and eloquence that our forefathers had at all levels in the society to openly discuss the various concepts of sexuality with continued efforts at research and policy implementation for the safety and appropriate shaping of our future generations. Now, it should commence from the very infancy stage and should continue till the adolescent stage. This is a crucial time where an adolescent should be made aware about the physiological changes, the body changes. To conclude, there is a huge unmet need for sex education in India amongst the adolescents, as established by nationwide surveys. To keep pace with the current day and age of information technology, huge efforts need to be extracted from clinicians, social scientists, policymakers in providing comprehensive sex education as an intracurricular and extracurricular programs, keeping in mind the cultural beliefs and social taboos. It is only when we as individuals are in a position to talk about the subject of sexuality without social stigma or inappropriateness, we will be able to make progress as a society in educating the young minds on sex and reproductive health. Even the healthcare facilities and the healthcare professionals lack the knowledge and the comfort to discuss issues related to sexuality that gets reflected in poor, inadequate, and discomforting history taking. So these are the references which I refer to while making up of these slides. And with this, I would just like to end up my presentation. Thank you, Jahanvi.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so
Now,
much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, so there are few questionnaires on YouTube. So I can just ask that.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. So one of the one of the participant asked the question that a small child lost and crying, will affection holds the child, but for other person to look at this action seems as molestation. So can you provide in this context?
Can you just
Sure.
debrief me the question once again, because I'm not getting the question properly. Okay.
Yeah, I have pasted it.
A small child lost and crying with affection holds the child, but for other person to look at this action seems as molestation. Guidance in this context. I think it's a very debatable point, because here what I can see over here is that a child, pehli baat, the very first thing that we have to look is that a child is lost and crying. So obviously, if I see a child, if he or she is lost and he's crying and somebody is actually consoling him, so definitely as a responsible person, I will accompany him to check whether, he is not in the wrong hands. So I think that can only be a guidance or insight into that question. And moreover, I would just like to know the what the age of the child is, because the age of the child matters while putting on such a question.
Correct, ma'am. Correct. So I think the age was not mentioned. So I think your answer might be satisfactory to the
Right.
person. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So next question was how to identify that
Hmm.
the child is mature enough to understand the concept of sex as knowledge or information, and he is not taking it as something that may be towards wrong path.
Okay, now considering this point, I would just like to say that to identify whether the age child has reached to a certain age or up to that maturity level where he can understand. So we can begin with the small concepts, like we can show them drawings. Now, by doing such sort of small activities, like we can show them plants, how the germination process of plants, how these plants actually used to undergo these germination process, then followed by fertilization process, and then we can look over to the child that what his or her responses are. Now gradually moving on towards the sex education, it is not a thing that is started at a very direct as a very direct process. So here what we can do is we can make child exposed to certain small things, certain small drawings. We can portray drawings over there, and we can ask the child to respond on a particular thing. So by that, I think we every any parent can get that hint that if that child is able to grasp the knowledge about this sex education.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, certainly. Yes. So moving forward to next question, it
Hmm.
is that in co-education institutes,
Hmm.
how can we educate the children about sex education?
Okay, now when coming on to the co-education system, I think I described it my slides also, that a girl, when a physiological process and bodily changes, the process about everything should be made aware to both the genders. Now when coming on to the co-education, I think the better what I believe is that from fifth or sixth class onwards, students should be made to communicate in a very better way, because it starts from your cleanliness. It starts from your cleanliness, then how do you communicate the love and the respect you give to each other. So for that you need to create a platform. Now you have to teach your students to care and respect to each other. From there you can actually build up a platform from up to a certain level, where you can actually give information regarding this thing. Apart from this, I think a teacher needs to be trained to handle all these things. So I cannot expect every teacher to impart knowledge about this sex education to students, because it's a very sensitive issue, it's a very sensitive thing. So I think both teacher first the teacher should be educated in a certain area, then only students can be educated. And I think in co-education, both the genders should be should get an opportunity to sit together and to learn and to understand the concepts, because I think that is the most comfortable way, where they will be knowing about the changes, about the physiological process that they will be undergoing in their adolescent age or adolescent period.
Sure, ma'am. Sure. I think scientific community can become that platform towards this novel cause also for the society that can impart sex education and the protection against some things, I guess.
I think comic can also play a very good role over here, because to start out with certain things, no, we can start out with a comic thing, that cartoonist thing, animation videos. Then we also have something in meme culture is also going on. So through memes also we can actually impart knowledge to students.
Certainly, ma'am. I think scientific community also has this meme portion, so I think memers can also join up on this psychological perspective and also the sex education perspective. I think we can work upon that surely.
Right. Thank you.
Sure. So I think next questions. There are many question over from our participants. So I think what we can do is we will right now take up the Dr. Parimal sir's lecture on this the laws. So after that, I think we can discuss the questions. So participants can still post your questions on the chat box. So we will collect all the questions and ask them at the last to both the speakers.
Okay.
Okay. So now I hand over my mic to Jahanvi for the further ongoing of the webinar.
Okay, thank you, Dhairya. Our next speaker, Dr. B.S. Parimal, sir. He is assistant professor at Department of Psychology at the Maharaja Siyajirao University of Baroda. As Somilya mentioned in the introduction, his area of interest are positive psychology, educational psychology, as well as law. Now, when we talk about rights and laws, we must know about the right. Know that what are the laws made for our protections, as well as what are the rights against this things which happen in our country. So the laws such as POSCO Act and Juvenile Justice, also the formation of CWC committees. I would like to call upon Sir. Sir, please take up.
Thank you.
Sir, you can present your screen.
Yeah. Okay. I hope that is my screen is visible.
Yes, sir, your screen is visible.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to express my sense of gratitude to members of scientific community and Baroda Youth Club members as well for giving me this opportunity to speak, to address our youth. So I hope that still Socrates is alive. Coming to the point, as Kavita madam discussed about sex educations. In sex education, we include physiology, anatomy, sociology, psychology, gynecology. But I think there is also need to include knowledge of different laws in field of sex educations. So the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act, POCSO 2012, is very much related and relevant. I think that definitely in today's scenario, everyone should know about POCSO 2012. Before we go into detail of POCSO Act 2012, first of all, let me tell you what was the necessity or need to form this law. So there are two reasons. One reason is that existing laws not enough to address sexual offenses against children. No specific provisions or laws for dealing with sexual abuse of male children. These were limitations of earlier laws related to sexual abuses to women, girls, and children. There was no indications of male-related problems or especially children-related problems. You can see earlier what were the different laws were existed in our legal systems. Before 2012, POCSO Act 2012 came into force. Goa Children's Act 2003 was only specific piece of child abuse legislation before the 2012 Act POCSO. Child sexual abuse was prosecuted under the following section of Indian Penal Code. There were many laws, provisions in Indian Penal Code. Very famous, everyone knows that Indian Penal Code since 1860, 375, rape. Then Indian Penal Code 354, outraging the modesty of woman. IPC section 377, unnatural offenses. Now here also I would not like, because today's topic is POCSO Act, but there are also some amendments under 377, unnatural offenses. Some subsections have been amended, and there are there is a landmark verdict before 2 years back regarding LGBT community. And now LGBTQ sexual orientation is no more a crime. However, the Indian Penal Code could not effectively protect the child due to various loopholes. Like in all these laws under Indian Penal Code, there were certain loopholes. For example, Indian Penal Code 375 does not protect male victims. There was no indication regarding male. It was not necessary that only females are victimized or sexually abused. There are many cases, boys, male are also sexually abused. So this was limitation, or anyone from sexual acts of penetration other than traditional peno-vaginal intercourse. So there was no clear-cut definition of penetration. Indian Penal Code 354 lacks a statutory definition of modesty. So modesty was also not clear. It does not protect the modesty of a male child. Under 377, unnatural offenses also does not is not designated to criminalize sexual abuse of children. So these were limitations of earlier laws existed, and that's why there was a need for a special law to be enacted for child sexual abuse. Now, one another problem to inform or to enact this law for safety and security for children, for protection of children, because there was, alarming rise in the cases of child sexual abuse. Here you can see what is the scenario in India. According to data by the National Crime Record Bureau, a total of 109 children were sexually abused every day in India. This is a 2018 figure, which showed a 22% jump in such cases from the previous year. According to the recently released National Crime Record Bureau data, 32,608 cases were reported in 2017. Now, what is the difference between 2017 and 2018? You can see there is a big jump. In 2018, it is 39,827, and it is under POCSO Act. So as many as 21,605 child rapes were recorded in 2018, which included 21,401 rapes of girls and 204 of boys. So the highest number of child rapes were recorded in Maharashtra. Maharashtra is the first Second one is Uttar Pradesh, and third one is the Tamil Nadu. And there is no need to take proud for Gujarat. Gujarat is also fifth number in these child sexual abuse cases or rape cases. So overall crimes against children has increased steeply over 6 times in the decade of 2008 to 2018. So record you can see, and definitely for psychologists, educationists, teachers, and parents, it was a great matter of concern. And also, not only rape or child sexual abuse, you can also see this kidnapping and abduction, and then they were also pushed into prostitutions. So this you can see on screen. I will not speak all the figures. So as many as 781 cases of use of child for pornography. Now this was not earlier in earlier laws regarding that. There was nothing regarding pornography, but children are misused for this business of pornography. Or storing child pornography materials was also recorded in 2018, more than double that of 2017 when 331 such cases were recorded according to data. Today's case, if you have read today's Times of India, this is a today's case. Abducted 14-year-old Bangladesh girl forced into sex trade, rescue in Surat city. And the person was registered under Protection of Children from Sexual Offences POCSO Act. So they were also booked under the Immoral Traffic Prevention Act. This is today's case. And I also included syllabus regarding POCSO Act in SYBA psychology course. Later on, there was a judgment of Gujarat High Court that educate youths about POCSO provisions. Because there were many misunderstandings, misconceptions regarding POCSO, and definitely there was a need to spread awareness among people of community. And one of the reasons for POCSO Act, before we discuss in detail, I would like to shed some light on child abuse. That is very much related to POCSO Act 2012. So, as per the definition given by UNICEF, violence is connected to sexual abuse. So, sexual abuse is also one of the parts of violence. Definition according to UNICEF. Child abuse has many forms of physical, emotional, sexual, neglect, and exploitations. Any of these that are potentially or actually harmful to a child's health, survival, dignity, and development are abused. Physical abuse is very common. You can see these are the forms of physical abuse by teachers, by parents, by family members of society. Burning, hitting, punching, shaking, kicking, beating, and these all. But our topic is definitely related to child sexual abuse. Emotional abuse is also, you can see, very common, also known as verbal abuse, mental abuse, and psychological maltreatment, very common by parents and caretakers. And this can include parents, caretakers using extreme bizarre forms of punishment, so such as confinement in a closest or dark room. Okay, you prepare your homework, otherwise you will be closed to dark room, being tied to a chair for a long period of time, threatening terrorizing. These all are the emotional abuses. But our today's topic definitely related to sexual abuse and especially child sexual abuse. So this is a very clear concept regarding sexual abuse. Sexual abuse is inappropriate sexual behavior with a child. It includes fondling a child's genitals, making the child fondle the adult genitals, intercourse, incest. Some close one is indulging in intercourse with two close one family members.
Sir, you can start now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sorry for the disturbance, sir.
No problem. Thank you very much. Yes, you have to inform me, otherwise I will keep speaking and I don't know what are the problems. So, child sexual, those children who are abused sexually, definitely as a student of psychology, definitely student of psychology know everything. But other students from different disciplines and also parents and other teachers should know about this. So am very much okay of the opinion that they should know about all these behavioral signs of child sexual abuse, how you can identify the child is abused sexually. And this will take, we can take lectures and lectures, but briefly I will speak about all these change in hygiene, develops phobias, exhibits signs of depression, suicidal thoughts, trouble in school, inappropriate sexual knowledge or behavior, nightmares, bedwetting, returns to regressive behavior such as thumb sucking, runs away from home or school, self-harm seems threatened by physical contact, And that's why these were two reasons. Earlier laws were not sufficient enough to address or issues of child sexual abuse, and there was a high rate of child sexual abuse increasing very high, and that's why there was a need for a special law, and that's why for the first time a special law has been passed to address the issue of sexual offences against children. Before the passing act, sexual offences were covered under different section of IPC that I have already discussed. There was also no distinction between adult and child victim in earlier laws. The Act has come into force with the effect of 14th November 2012. This is very remarkable day because of our Prime Minister, former Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. Children's were, I think, uh, on his birthday. I used to love a lot the children's. So this is the very, I think you can remember the date of implementation of this law. And coming to the point now, I have, I think, 25 minutes. What is POCSO Act? There are 46 sections. So I think it is very difficult to explain each and every sections of POCSO Act. But what are the important sections? Definitely I will try to explain you. Section number 1. This act may be called the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012. According to this definition, if you will go through the Gazette, definitely you will get all the sections. It extends to the whole India except the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Now remember, during that time, it was not applicable to Jammu and Kashmir, but with the abrogation of Article 370 and the transition of J&K from state to union territory, the Central POCSO Act 2012 was extended to the Jammu and Kashmir also. It's debatable topic. What is Article 370? And this was the case of Kashmir, Kathua rape case. There was it was that time there was a UN cry and there was a strong protest from all the people, from all the corners of in the world. And because of this Kathua rape case, definitely government had to give in, and Kashmir also, I think, included to be implemented this law of POCSO. So justice for Ashifa. Ashifa was an 8-year-old girl was abducted, raped and murdered in a village near Kathua, Jammu, in Kashmir in January 2018. And that's why it was amended. 377 also was there. 6 of 7 accused were convicted in the case, of which 3 were in prison for life and 3 sentenced to 5 years in jail. So it is a comprehensive law to provide for protection of children from the offences of sexual assaults. Earlier it was not there, sexual harassment and pornography. Why it is comprehensive to safeguard the interests of child, every stage, the judicial proceeding, or the proper development of the child, view of his protection of the right to privacy and confidentiality. So that's why it was comprehensive as far as we are talking about children's rights. Now, this is also very important. What is the age of child? So, according to in the beginning, when Act was formed, actually age of 18 years. So, actually, however, this definition is purely biological one. 18
Hello,
years
sir.
here. Yeah.
Sir, can you just dismiss the dialog box that it came up on the screen?
That means stop sharing.
No. The dialog box that it came, I guess. Can you just go into the meeting once?
Sorry?
Yes. Can you just open the meeting once? Yeah. So now you can again revisit the presentation.
Oh, it's okay.
It's still coming. Can you just
Okay.
close the presentation and present it again? Means just turn off the screen sharing.
Stop sharing. Okay. Stop presenting.
Yes.
Okay. Then
Yes. Now.
now it's okay. Hello.
Oh. Sir, just a second.
Sorry. It's okay.
Sir, just a second. Just a second.
Front slide.
Sir, now you may proceed.
It's okay. Thank you. Okay. Now my screen is visible. Hello. It's okay now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, according to this POCSO Act 2012, when we are going to define child should be 18 years. But afterwards, there was recent case in Supreme Court has been filed where a woman of biological age 38 years, but mental age of 6 years was raped. In this case of rape, I think those who are students of psychology must be knowing what is the difference between chronological physical age or mental age. So after this judgment, there was an amendment. Victim's age should be taken not just in physical terms, but also take into account her mental age as well. Most important provisions or offenses covered by this act, under this act, are you can see penetrative sexual assault, section 3, aggravated penetrative sexual assault, aggravated sexual assault, sexual harassment of a child, use of child for pornography purposes. Section 3, under this act, person commits penetrative sexual assault if he penetrates his penis into the vagina, mouth, urethra, or anus of a child, or makes a child do the same, or insert any other object into the child's body, or apply his mouth to a child's body parts. Under Section 3, this was definitely amounted penetrative sexual assault a crime. Section 5, it was aggravated penetrative assault. Now, what is the difference? Aggravated word is very important because the crime is committed by not a general public, but these include cases when a police officer, many cases have been recorded. Police officer, a member of the armed forces, public servant commits penetrative sexual assault on a child. It also covers cases where the offender is a relative of the child, or if the assault injures the sexual organs of the child. And that's why it was aggravated penetrative assault according to Section 5. But there was an amendment. And what was the amendment in this section? After 2019, also it has been included in penetrative sexual assault. These two things, assault resulting in death of child and assault committed during a natural calamity or in any similar situation of violence. Now, these two factors were very important because During natural calamity in Bihar, in Muzaffar, definitely some cases were recorded, and that's why there was a need to include or to amend this law, violence and natural calamities. And this is a very landmark case, Muzaffarpur shelter home rape case, refers to a shelter home that ran under a non-governmental organization, Seva Sankalp Evam Vikas Samiti. 34 out of 42 inmates living at the shelter was confirmed. So first information report was lodged against 12 people on May 31, 2018, Brijesh Thakur. So after these cases, there was also again a strong protest from the people, and that's why there was a need to amend to this section, and that's why there were two amendments in these sections of POCSO Act. Section 7, sexual assault. According to this section, you can see what is the definition. Whoever with sexual intent touches the vagina, penis, anus, or breast of the child, or makes the child touch the vagina, penis, anus, or breast of such person or any other person, or does any other act with sexual intent which involves physical contact without penetration is said to commit sexual assault. Section 9 is again, definitely there is a sexual assault, but it is aggravated because aggravated by some people, definitely are from the armed forces or police officer or authority. And also this is very much important to be noted when we define offenses aggravated. It should include committed by person in position of trust or authority, committed by persons in management or staff, educational, medical, religious institution, that means maybe doctors, maybe teachers, maybe sadhu or other religious people, jail, remand home, protection home, observation home. Here also children are not safe. Gang assault is also definitely comes under this. Offense caused by grievous hurt, offense caused physical or mental disability, offense is committed taking advantage of child or physical disability, offense is committed more than once, child is below 12 years of age, offender is relative of the child, then it is aggravated sexual assault. Attempt is also made to murder. These are also other we can add for these sections. Okay, committed by person who has previously convicted of having committed such a, if he is having history of child sexual abuse, offense is committed in course of communal or sectarian violence, then it is also aggravated. Section 11 is also sexual harassment. Earlier it was not there. This is also definition of sexual harassment. I will not go into detail word by word, but it, you can see, even utters any word or makes any sound or makes any gesture or exhibits any object or part of body with the intention that such word or sound shall be heard. The sexual harassment has been defined widely. Sexual harassment does not mean only touch, verbal, physical, or you can see all these. Okay, pornographic purposes also you use child. So punishment now, these sections are important under crime point of view, 3, 5, 7, 9 and 11. Now there are also punishment under POCSO Act according to these sections, and just I will show you the table. These are offenses list that we have discussed. Penetrative assault. What is the punishment according to section 4? 7 years to imprisonment for life and fine. This was the before amendment. Now after amendment it may be, okay, shall not be less than 20 years, or you can see, okay, it may be shall also be liable to fine or imprisonment of life imprisonment. Aggravated penetrative sexual assault we have discussed. Earlier it was 10 years. Now it is also you can see imprisonment, fine, and the death even also under section 6. So you can see under different sections of the crime, whether it is this penetrative assault or to the sexual harassment, there are different provisions for the punishment. It may be minimum 3 years to the death penalty. Now, very important is now we can see use of child for pornographic purposes. It comes under 13, section 13, under POCSO Act 2012. So this is the definition. Whoever uses child in any form of media, okay, in short, briefly, we can say child is being used for professional or business purpose by accused. Definitely, it may be representation of sexual organs of a child, use of child engaged in real or stimulated sexual act, human trafficking, and then after purchasing children's, they also do some, this type of movies and blue films or blueprints, and they do for professional purposes. This is a pornographic purposes. Child is sexually abused. It comes under section 13, and definitely Baroda also 2 days back. Okay, under pornography act under section 13, you can see this Jatin Parmar was registered. It is a latest case of Lakshmipura in Baroda. So punishment for offences for using child for pornographic purposes, you can see during the 2012 and what are the amendments after 2019 bills. What are the different forms of the pornographic purposes? According to the different form of purposes related to pornography of children, you can see minimum punishment, and you can see after amendment there are maximum punishments. So abatement and attempt is also comes under POCSO Act. So abatement is also, that means treated with same gravity as commission. That means if you support, okay, to commit child sexual abuse to someone else, then it is abatement, also the same punishment under section 16. It may be trafficking of children for sexual purposes covered under abatement. Attempt to commit an offense penalized up to the half the punishment of prescribed. The punishment is half. Procedure for this is very important. Then suppose child is sexually abused, then what is the procedure for reporting of cases? Any person who has an apprehension that an offense of sexual abuse is likely to be committed or knows that the offense has been committed should provide information to the Special Juvenile Police Unit, SGPU, or local police. Immediately you have to inform SGPU, and SGPU and local police will inform to Child Welfare Committee. And police also, Special Juvenile Police Unit is there, should make immediate arrangement for such children. So they should report, as GPU and local police should report the matter to the Child Welfare Committee within 24 hours of recording the complaint. If there is a need for medical treatment, hospital within 24 hours should be, they should be admitted in hospitals. So no person shall incur the liability. If you will inform, you are not liable. Sometimes there is a stigma or you have fear. If I will inform to police, then I will have to, okay, I will be liable. But no, you don't have liability. And that's why it is mandatory. If you know, if child sexual abuse in your knowledge, maybe from your neighbor, from schools, and if you don't report, then you are also liable for punishment. And this is a punishment you can see, punishable with imprisonment of 6 months or with fine. Definitely, we have to spread awareness among the people. Okay, if you ignore due to fear or stigma, definitely it is a crime. Media not to disclose the identity. Okay, dignity, privacy to be maintained. Media does not allow. Punishment in case of contravention is imprisonment for not less than 6 months. If you will disclose in media, then there is also punishment. Compensation and legal aid, provision for compensations. Remember, so yes, were talking about the procedures. You can see children are given a lot of rights. Nowhere should okay, children's definitely we can see they should not be suffered psychologically, economically, emotionally, and that's why this POCSO Act 2012 is very comprehensive and protects children from all the aspects. So let me again go back. Presence of parents, and suppose not available, child definitely can prefer the person other than parent to whom the child has trust or confidence. In suppose the language is a barrier in case of children, can take help for translation. In some cases of physical or mental disability, definitely they should be provided. Definitely they are provided under this act. Special educator or any person familiar with the manner of communication of the child. Having such qualification or experiences. Most important is wherever possible, the magistrate or the police officer at the case may be shall ensure that the statement of child is also recorded by audio video electronic means. Medical examination is also very important in such cases. The medical examination of a child in respect of whom any offense has been committed under this act shall, notwithstanding with understanding that a first information report or complaint has not been registered for the offense under this act, be conducted in accordance with the section 16(4)(a) of the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973. So in case of the victim is a girl child, remember, very important, the medical examination shall be conducted by a woman doctor. Suppose the medical examination shall not be conducted in the presence of the parent of the child or any other person in whom the child reposes trust or confidence, where in case parent of the child or other person referred to in subsections cannot be present for any reason during the medical examination of a child. In such cases, the medical examination shall be conducted in the presence of a woman nominated by the head of the medical institutions. So procedures and powers of special courts are, you can see, they have been given a special powers under section 33, and it says that the special court shall create a child-friendly atmosphere. Special court shall ensure that the child is not called repeatedly to testify. Special court shall not permit aggressive questioning. The special court shall ensure that the identity of the child is not disclosed. Where any offense under committed. Now, this is very important under section 34. In some cases, definitely offenses are committed by under 18. The children are themselves, accused or criminal. So in such cases, any offense under this act is committed by a child, such child shall be dealt with under the provisions of the juvenile justice. Suppose, the criminal offender or accused is under 18, then it does not come under POCSO Act, but procedure would be followed according to Juvenile Justice Act 2000. So if any question arises in any proceedings before the special court, whether a person is a child or not, such questions shall be determined by the special court satisfied itself about the age such person, and it shall record in writing its reason for such determination. The special courts definitely is given many powers. Compensation, legal aid also I have discussed earlier, so I will not repeat it. Children who are sexually abused, definitely they are given financial compensation, and legal aid freely. Monitoring
Yeah, yeah, sure. I think media is actually playing a very great role in this thing, and they are actually, distorting the way a romance is actually portrayed. Because romance, when I consider this thing, it's like on the basis of psychoanalytical theory, I can just state that sexual drives is something that is hidden in your id, and what you're observing from the outside, that is actually your consciousness that is present in your consciousness. So obviously what you are seeing through your senses, it is actually making an individual to undergo in intra conflict. Because what you're observing, you are not getting knowledge about something that is pertaining to physiological, biological. You are just observing the things, and when you try to implement those in your real life scenarios, I think obviously an individual encounters with a problem. Because reality is, real life is always different as compared to the real life. So obviously media is playing a very great role, because they are not providing you with this knowledge point on with this knowledge thing, but they are giving you the giving you the they are just showing you which is actually increasing their TRPs, or which is actually is in demand in the market. Okay, I can just open the YouTube and I can just look onto the questions, and I'll just answer them one by one, so that will save our time. So there. Okay, I think, right. Can you tell us something more about sexuality of people? I think this question needs some specification regarding LGBTQ community, and that's another chapter. I think that will take another session to discuss about these things. LGBTQ. Just correct me if I'm wrong, and if I'm not getting your question. Because sexuality is something, when we are considering homosexuals, we are including homosexuality also. Child- How to help a child who wants to give up his porn addiction? Okay, now I think that when a child is compliant, because in counseling we believe that an individual can be treated, or he or she can be given some sort of help only when a client or an individual is compliant. So in this case, what I can see is a child is compliant and he wants to give up his porn addiction. So obviously, in this case, professional advice could be seeked on. What can be done to ensure that personal values and beliefs of teachers are not imposed upon their students? Okay, one thing I would just like to mention over here, that when we are dealing with the topic of sex education, one thing can be done over here, that it can be taken up as a voluntary subject. Likewise, it could not. Likewise, if I am the principal of a school and I have to choose teachers for imparting sex education knowledge to students, So instead of making it mandatory to every teacher, I could make it as a voluntary participation. That means it's your wish if you would like to come up with with such things, so that you can provide unbiased information to students, irrespective of having whatever attitude, beliefs, and values you are possessing. Okay, if we educate child about sex education and child make friend in school and get excited to do sex once or try, how should a parent tackle that situation? What should be said to stop those thoughts? Okay, now when coming on to this thing, I would just like to correlate it with the libido, and this libido concept was given by Dr. Sigmund Freud, and I think that this question can be actually related to the psychic energy, the sexual energy, and when psychic energy is considered, I think in this case a child can be diverted. Now this is something we can never have control over, so in order to divert or channelize those energy, we can actually use sublimation type of defense mechanism, where we can actually make child busy in some activity so that he can focus less on those thoughts. Now thoughts are something that will be disturbing him, so in that case a parent, what a parent or both the parents can do is just to discuss the things in a very homely environment, and they can be like, what feelings you are actually having. So in that case a parent is able to channelize that sexual and that psychic energy into another activity. And one thing to be considered over here is very important, that if a child is telling you that he is having that urge, obviously he will be listening to his or her parents. If a child is so comfortable in telling this thing to his parents, obviously a child will listen to what parents are saying, and he will be interesting them, because he thinks that that they will actually guide him. Right. How successful is abstinence only sex education reduced teen pregnancy? I think no method of contraception is successful until and unless you go for oophorectomy or the surgical removal of uterus. But still, we can say that there are certain contraceptive methods. There are some protective measures which can actually which can actually reduce the chances of teenagers pregnancy, but they are not 100% reliable. Let me make this thing very clear. Okay, are there any theories or framework that incorporate HIV risk communication and cultural influences for women besides the theory of gender and power? This is again another topic, and I think that can be talked upon in another session. Then we have, if in case someone tells us about any fact committed with him or her with complete faith, it is definitely important to maintain confidentiality. But at the same time, it is important to inform about it. I'm not getting this question. Can you just elaborate me regarding this question? In case. Okay,
What
that's
is
the POCSO Act.
the,
It's definitely important to maintain.
can you remind me? I think at what slide I was disconnected from my side. Okay. I don't know when at the time of disconnection I didn't know what was the slide you have seen. Otherwise, so this was done limitation. Okay. Okay, but yes, this I don't know. Okay. This is actually conclusion. Already I have finished my presentation. But apart from POCSO Act, whatever I have discussed different provisions under different sections of provision, POCSO Act 2012. What are the different sections which define crime, and what are the punishments, and what are the different section of punishment? What is the legal procedure? What is reporting? Everything I have discussed. But as a man of psychology, definitely I would like to share something that how we can solve this problem. Am I audible? Okay. So yes, I would like to conclude that these sexually abused children, when you will say smile, please. Okay, parents, teachers, and other relatives and friends. So this is the answer by a victim of child sexual abuse. From this poem, you can understand what is the pain, what is the suffering of that child. And you must be knowing the name of phoenix. Phoenix is a bird. Okay, we know about phoenix that every day it dies or it is burned. Every day, after burning has come out from ashes. So this is the answer response from child, the victim of child sexual abuse. How can I promise you? If you say, please give me promise to smile. This is the answer of child sexual abuse victim, that how can I promise you smiles are far miles and miles. Smiles are far miles and miles away. What is spring and fragrance of flowers? Everyday autumn showers. There is no spring season, no flower. Autumn showers every day, rise and fall, fall and rise. Darkness ever, no sunrise. What color means and nothing to do with breeze. I am but a phoenix. Every moment be finished, burn to ashes, be alive but no wishes. Can you see in life of this type of or these children's, no color, no flower, okay, nothing, no enjoyment. Every day they have to get up from this type of experience or depressions. So, but answer from their near ones and dear ones should be now. I think only emotional support can be helpful. Emotional, social support from parents, from teachers, those who are close ones, and definitely in this poem it is reflected. I am there in all your adversities. Enjoy every moment of life. Cannot touch you any fatalities. I am there to kill your death. Whatever you have visions, go for achieving all your visions. But these children, every day they have depression. They don't have meaning to live their life. Life is hopeless for them. No vision, no mission, no reason to live, and no vision, no mission. Definitely, you have to keep saying that I am there. Okay, so don't think about to commit suicide. Don't afraid that you cannot achieve your goals. I am there. You can achieve all your visions and missions. So around you, my love ocean is there. So positive thinking. Okay, keep flowing. Okay, your positive waves to this type of children, and give them assurance that your survival is not in danger. I am there to rescue. So you feel your existence. Okay, you enjoy your each and every moment and forget everything what happened in the past. My love is immortal, and this is love immortal is actually the evidence. So these are national child abuse hotline. You can note it down, and if in such cases, according to POCSO Act, definitely you have to inform. If you don't inform to the authority concerned, definitely you are also committing a crime. So definitely, as a We are from this field, it is our duty. We have to spread awareness among the members of community. And this is our role as a human being. We have to discharge our duty as a human being. And my conclusion is this: there are many laws. Even we have discussed what are the different sections of POCSO Act 2012. There are many punishments also. But conclusion is that strict punishment will instill the fear of law in the public mind and deter rape. But the only permanent solution to the problem is to dismantle the hold of patriarchal thinking mindset that regards women as being a man's property. So laws are there, provisions of punishments are there. Definitely they would be fearful, but ultimately solution is that we have to change our mentality mindset. And for that, only we people can do spreading awareness among the people of community. And I appreciate the efforts of scientific community, Baroda Youth Club. They are doing a very good work, very beautiful work, and definitely they have to go a long way ahead. And I also wish you all the best that you achieve all your goals and fulfill all your dreams. When there is a need from my side, I am always there. Thank you very much, and sorry for interruptions, and there may be some these technical problems. Uh, there may be some disconnections. So, is it okay? The first question is, what are the legal provisions for a child under age 18, boy or girl, sexually harassed opposite sex child under 18? Here, definitely, I don't know whether you have seen one of the slide or not, but we have in these cases, if accused is also child, victim is also child, they both are children. Definitely, this type of criminal procedure will be conducted according to Juvenile Justice Act. Second question is, are there any theories or framework that incorporate HIV risk communications and cultural influence for women beside the theory of gender and power? What do you mean by theories? Are there any theories or framework that incorporate HIV risk communication?
Sir, I think that she or he is asking about the health models which we used to teach to our students, healthcare models. So I don't know what.
No, definitely in health psychology, I have been teaching health psychology for last 6 years in Department of Psychology. So definitely also this is a taboo or stigma regarding HIV positive. So definitely there are many theories and models in health psychology. So I think that those.
So one was given by NAPO, I guess, National AIDS. नहीं दिया है as far as I forwarded by.
Okay, so definitely health psychology is there. What happens if there are no witnesses claim? What happens if there are no witnesses claim to sexual harassment? That means witnesses are not there. That's why this is, I think, definitely one of the drawbacks of our legal system. In some cases, due to lack of evidences, due to witnesses are not there. But problem is that child definitely has come to forward, and that's why and child, this sexual abuse Sex education is very important, especially the legal awareness. And that's why we have to encourage or motivate. We have to give, emotional support to children from the primary education, so that they can, come up with courage to go to police stations or these all legal cells. What I have discussed, different authorities, uh, okay, to lodge complaint against sexual harassment.
So there's a very interesting question. I don't know who posed this question, and I think we both worked on this on a similar case. And the question says that if in case someone tells us about any act committed with him or her with complete faith, it is definitely important to maintain the confidentiality, but at the same time, it is important to inform about it. What should be done in such situation? And also, as a psychology student, such kind of situation might be faced by any of us in future. So, what should be done to tackle the situation?
What is the situation?
So, situation is like if some client come up to us and he or she states that somebody committed she is a victim actually. So, in
Yeah.
that case, what can be done? Because ethics says that we have to maintain the confidentiality, and we have to go abide by that confidentiality process. So in that case, what a psychology student or what a psychologist or a counselor can do in this particular situation?
According to POCSO Act, I don't know, I already displayed the slide. There is a provision. It itself says that, okay, now it depends. Client is under 18 or above 18.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
According to POCSO Act, as far as my topic is concerned, definitely it is a mandatory to report to authority. So there is nothing about, violation of ethics. On the contrary, it is a crime on your part. Okay, client comes to you and talking about his or her problem of child sexual abuse or any sexual harassment, and it is of your, it is it is about this case, and you think it is against ethics. I have to maintain confidentiality or privacy because of ethics violation. No. On the contrary, definitely you have to go to authority, and we are already there are different, police station also. And there is a special provision if you would inform to concerned authority, you would not be liable even.
Hmm.
Suppose it is wrong. Under civil criminal procedure code, you are not liable. But if you don't inform, then you would be liable because it is a mandatory, even if it is in your knowledge. So forget ethics and morals. On the contrary, law permits you.
Right. Thank you, sir. I would just like to add on what Parimal sir said, that many a times it usually happens like a client come up to us and he's in a state of emotional turmoil or presenting some of the symptoms of any disorder, mental health disorder. So there he suppose let's say he disclosed one thing that I raped a girl, and now this is something when we actually are following the ethical guidelines, there is a clause that is mentioned over there that during any such sort of emergencies or during any such sort of cases, we are liable to report to the higher authorities, and we have to report it irrespective of what the confidentiality is there between the counselor and a client.
What is the question?
The question was, Sure. They must have been exhausted.
Thank you, Dhairya. I, on behalf of scientific community and Baroda Youth Club, I would like to thank our speakers, Dr. Kavita Gupta ma'am, Dr. B.S Parimal sir, for demonstrating their knowledge and ideas with us on sex education in India. A special thanks to the organizing committee, support and coordination of our team members, and the one who supported us indirectly. Our heartfelt thank to our participants for active participation and their patient listenings and arousing curious questions. This was only possible because of your presence. Stay connected with us for such more events. Till next, think, grow, and share. With this warm words and kind message, we wind up for our today's session. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much.
And we are very much thankful to the organizing committee and everybody and every participant. At least during this pandemic lockdown, we are we shared something that could be beneficial to the community and to the society. So thank you so much. Congrats. Right. Congratulations, and I wish you all the very best for your future endeavors. All the best. All the best.
Thank you very much. Yeah.